Ladies and gentlemen, scholars and skeptics, welcome to the most chaotic history class you'll ever attend, History or Hoax. The game where truth is stranger than fiction, but fiction is way more fun to argue about. Here's how it works. Each round, you'll hear two unbelievable stories. One's a real historical event, the other's a bald-faced lie I cooked up. Your job? Debate, interrogate, and vote on which tale is true. Will you spot the sneaky details? Or will you fall for a story so wild, even Wikipedia wouldn't believe it? Scoring is simple. Correct guess equals 1 point. Wrong guess equals eternal shame. Just kidding, maybe. The winner gets asterisk bragging rights as the ultimate history sleuth, and the loser has to recite the next story in a Shakespearean accent. First rule, no Googling. Cheaters get haunted by historical ghosts. Second rule, the more dramatic your arguments, the better. Third rule, if you laugh at my fake stories, you're encouraging me. Let's kick things off with our first round.
In 19th century France, a chef was so enraged by a bad restaurant review that he challenged the food critic to a duel with sausages. They fought using links as swords, and the critic lost when his sausage snapped in half. The chef was declared the winner and banned from writing Yelp reviews forever.
During the American Civil War, a group of soldiers from opposing sides accidentally stumbled into the same barn during a snowstorm. Too cold to fight, they shared food, played cards, and even held an impromptu talent show. The next morning, they parted ways without firing a shot, and later sent each other letters signed "Your enemy, but also your friend."
Story B is true. This actually happened during the Christmas Truce of 1914, World War I, not Civil War. My historical tweak was a test. Enemy soldiers famously stopped fighting to exchange gifts, sing carols, and even play soccer in no man's land. Many later exchanged letters. Story A is fake, but inspired by real chef duels, just not with sausages.
In 2500 BCE, an Egyptian architect designed a pyramid with secret air vents to keep the pharaoh's mummy fresh. But when the vents were sealed by accident, the burial chamber became so humid that the king's corpse melted into a puddle of resin. The architect was allegedly executed by accursed honey. Bees were involved.
During the construction of Rome's Colosseum, Emperor Titus hired 1,000 left-handed gladiators to fight in the opening games, because he believed it would confuse the lions. The plan backfired when the lions, unfazed, ate both the gladiators and the referee. Titus then banned left-handed combat sports for centuries.
Story A is true, with creative liberties. Real history, the Great Pyramid of Giza does have narrow air shafts, star shafts, aligned with constellations, though their purpose remains debated: ventilation, spiritual pathways, or astronomical tools. Embellished twist, the melted mummy and cursed honey are fabrications, but Egyptian architects were sometimes punished for errors. Story B is fake, but inspired by Roman quirks. Grain of truth, gladiators did fight exotic animals in the Colosseum, but no evidence supports left-handed bias or lion referee snacks. Romans did believe odd superstitions.
King Henry VIII of England once declared war on France because his tennis balls were delivered late. The French ambassador sent him a barrel of poorly stitched balls as an insult, sparking a 3-month conflict that ended only when Henry got distracted by a new wife.
In 18th century Russia, Empress Anna Ivanovna ordered her nobles to marry her pet monkey as punishment for a failed coup. The wedding was lavish, with a tiny monkey-sized crown, but the marriage was annulled after the groom, a duke, faked his own death to escape.
Story B is true. Real history. Empress Anna Ivanovna did force Prince Mikhail Golitsyn to marry her pet monkey in a humiliating wedding spectacle, 1730s. The groom survived, but the monkey died shortly after, no annulment needed. Russian nobles faced absurd punishments, like being made court jesters or living as chickens. Story A is fake, but Henry VIII did declare war over pride, just not tennis balls.
In 1920, a British inventor created a motorized pogo stick to help postal workers deliver mail faster. It could balance 6 feet high until testers kept crashing into trees. The project was scrapped after 17 broken ribs and one unfortunate incident involving a mayor's prized rose garden.
During World War II, the U.S. military tried to train bats as bombers by strapping tiny incendiary devices to them. The plan? Release them over Japan to start fires. It failed when the bats escaped and burned down a military hangar in New Mexico. The project was dubbed Operation X-Ray.
Story B is true. The U.S. actually tested bat bombs in 1943, Operation X-Ray. The bats, equipped with napalm devices, accidentally torched a research facility. The project was abandoned when the atomic bomb got priority. Story A is fake, but pogo sticks were patented in 1920, just not for mail delivery.
In 19th century Europe, doctors prescribed heroin for children's coughs and marketed it as a safe, non-addictive alternative to morphine. Ads claimed it made kids cheerful and obedient until entire generations got hooked. The same company later invented aspirin.
During the 1918 flu pandemic, a famous surgeon insisted that wearing raw onions around the neck could suck germs out of the blood. Newspapers praised the idea, and sales of onions skyrocketed, until ERs overflowed with patients suffering from severe onion burns.
Story A is true. Real history. Bayer Pharmaceuticals did sell heroin as a cough syrup in 1898, even gifting branded kits to doctors. Spoiler, it backfired spectacularly. They also invented aspirin, and still sell it today. Story B is fake, but people did try wild flu cures, like drinking gasoline or wearing garlic.
And that's a wrap on History or Hoax. The game where truth is stranger than fiction, but fiction is way more fun to argue about. If you guessed all 5 rounds right, congratulations. You're either a history professor or a really good liar. If you got most of them wrong, don't worry, so did Wikipedia. Let's recap the chaos. We learned that heroin was once baby cough syrup, thanks, Bayer. We met a monkey who married a duke, RIP to the happy couple. And we confirmed that bad bombers exist, but only if you want your Air Force to burn down. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment with, which story shocked you the most? Which historical figure you challenged to this game? I vote Genghis Khan. Dude had opinions. Whether we should do part 2, with even wilder tales. Smash that like button if you prescribe heroin for a cold, and subscribe if you don't trust Emperor Titus around lions. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay silly, and never trust a left-handed gladiator.